a intense game of Snake or something on the computer, Grant.
Who you talking to?
You.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not Snake. I wish though. I haven't had a good Snake run in a little bit, so
Charged my Kinley. Everything's not everything. There's a few things still in boxes in the new house that we just have down in some shelves in the basement. And Kinley found my Nintendo DS, my Game Boy. Fired that thing up today. Charged it. Pokemon.
Kinley is playing Pokemon, or you're playing Pokemon?
I am playing Pokemon.
Okay, you should
And
text.
that's
Text
how
Spencer,
we.
see what he
Yeah.
see if he's got any tips for you.
Well, I'm pretty well versed in the Pokemon as well. I haven't competed like he has, but I'm decent. I like to follow along with YouTube videos.
That's fair.
Welcome in, everybody. This is what the Wash Up Walk-Ons podcast is now. Ohio State week. Start the pot with a little Pokemon. Kevin, how we doing?
Doing fan-freaking-tastic.
Who's your favorite Pokemon, Kevin?
It's Pikachu!
It's Pikachu. It's Clefairy. Fuck! One of the better.
Great meme.
Great meme.
Great meme.
Great meme. Pokemon's older than Grant.
It's probably older than you guys as well.
I don't think so.
I believe it was 99.
I think it was late.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I know there's I see it on Twitter all the time, like a sneaky fun fact that Nintendo is like a crazy old company.
Yeah. Yeah.
The original, like Nintendo's over 100 years old or something like that.
Oh, that old, huh?
Yeah.
What were they doing?
They were doing something else for a while. Now they're obviously in a different industry, but
I mean I don't think handheld games became a thing until like the 80s.
Yeah, Nintendo's been around since 1889.
1889?
What were they doing? What was Nintendo doing in World War II? I need to know.
I mean, in World War II?
What were they doing from 1931 to 45?
We might uncover something here. They were probably like an ammunition company.
Some stuff that they don't want us to know about.
They were an ammunition company for the
This was not in Oppenheimer, so I'm not 100% sure.
Getting into World War II, Kev, on Taglines, the Patreon exclusive podcast, not to pump the Patreon, but patreon.com/washup-walk-ons. No shame plug there. Kevin or Grant and I got into a great discussion about the Mason-Dixon line and the compromise of 1850.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a big history podcast.
Basically, we were learning about it
with no evidence, or no actual facts.
The poor fans are just watching you learn about the compromise of 1850.
That's 100% true. It was funny though. I think we were being pretty funny about it. Anyway, anything fun and exciting happening in your guys' lives as we come off this bye week? We get into a little Ohio State week. Are you guys refreshed off the bye? You guys feel good?
Bye weekend was good. I think the players needed it. I think the fans needed it too. A little, like Grant said, sometimes you just need an off weekend.
How do you feel about the double bye this week or this year, Kevin?
I mean, it makes sense for the teams that make the playoffs, right?
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, what if you can play up to 16 games, 17 games now? If you like make it to the conference championship and then only make it to like the first round of the playoff,
and you're not one of the first, you would play to get to the 8, to the 4, to the 2, and then play the champion. 4 plus 17. Is that 17 games? It's at least 16. Dude, 17 games is a lot, man.
Yeah, so two bye weeks for that sounds about right.
Yeah, you absolutely need
we had 2 bye weeks just one year, though. Like, it was like 2014, I feel like we had 2 bye weeks that year.
Did we?
I think so.
I don't remember ever having 2 bye weeks, but maybe now that you say that, it does kind of ring a bell. It does kind of feel like maybe we did. Our second bye week is going to come after I'm going to come. Do not come. It's going to come after our UCLA game. So we're going to have 10 games in. So it comes before game 5 and before game 11. Pretty well spread out for us.
That's good. I think they go to UCLA and then to Maryland are the 2 games where the bye games in between.
Yep.
Which I think for travel, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good because, frankly,
that'd be tough back-to-back games.
Those are going to be our 2 longest trips of the year, and they are back-to-back. So having a week off in the middle there is definitely gonna stymie that travel sludge, whatever you want to call it. UCLA trap game. I'm telling you, West Coast. Go out there. It's gonna be weird. Although it's kind of cool. I hope it's better than when we played in the Rose Bowl.
When was the last time Iowa won in the Rose Bowl?
Oh boy,
50 whatever.
Yeah, it's the early 60s.
No, not the 60s. It was 50 something.
They lost in
1959.
59. There you go.
So it would be damn near 50 years since we've won in the Rose Bowl. We have an opportunity, man.
That's what Cal Golden Bears
in the Rose Bowl, huh? What was the score of that game?
I'm going to take
38-12. Oh, sorry.
38-12. That's high score.
Didn't mean to spoil it.
That is modern day football right there. That's basically the score of the Oregon UCLA game last weekend. I thought it was funny how Oregon touted their big win, this is our Big Ten conference win against UCLA. Big Ten football. What do you guys think about this Big Ten SEC? You know, there was once a great alliance started between the Pac-12 and the Big Ten.
And the ACC, too.
And the
right?
ACC, yeah.
Yeah, that lasted a year, right?
We did
It never even came to fruition, right? Because they were promising each other non-conference games, and then the Big Ten just kind of poached the Pac-12's best teams, and then the Pac-12 just kind of folded as a conference.
It's crazy to me that I'm fairly certain, Kev, that not a single actionable thing took place from that alliance. And like those things you don't just like call each other and say, hey, you want to be an alliance? Like there was in-person meetings. Like there was work done amongst athletic directors and like conference big people inside the conferences to get that done, and then nothing happens.
The cynical part of me wants to believe that the Big Ten just wanted to look at some of the Pac-12 teams' books and be like, how profitable would it be for us to steal some of these teams away?
Cynical or maybe smart?
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. Just cynical. The cynic that
do you really? Business. Did they really need to get an actual look at the 4 teams that we got though? Like you could take a pretty good guess that they were bringing in some cash.
Yeah. I don't know. You probably get a better look at like, I don't know. Maybe all that stuff's public anyway. So maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
This new one would be between the Big Ten and the SEC. So, Big Ten just trying to buddy up. They're trying to date everybody, basically. Good for the Big Ten.
Just like you're saying we're a slutty conference is what you're saying.
Just a freshman that's just trying to get around and
experience life.
These are some conference stereotypes you're throwing around. If the SEC does it, it's fine, but when the Big Ten does it, so all of a sudden the stereotypes are flipped.
I don't think the SEC's tried to buddy up with any other conferences. We tried to have a threesome with the Pac-12, who's not even a thing anymore. They're dead.
It's revived.
They're coming back. They've got
Gonzaga.
They got 6 teams on the line for next year, right?
I think there's 7.
7 with the Gonzaga was in, and then they were out. They're in again.
Isn't the Pac-12 just the Mountain West now?
It is the Mountain West. You are 100% right in saying that.
Well, with Wazoo and Oregon State still holding it down.
They're the original founding members, I guess.
They're the flagship programs of the Pac-12 now.
Yeah, kind of. And then I think the Mountain West is taking. They're trying to steal the MAC, which I'm furious about.
A lot of people were not happy about that when the report came out, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. People were like, please stop. Stop it.
This is where we draw the line. All right.
All the five big five conferences, Power Five, do whatever you want, but don't touch the MAC, please.
Don't touch my Tuesday night action.
We need our action.
I don't know if there's a more universally liked product. Like I've never tuned into a college football show where someone's like, I just hate that Toledo and Kent State play each other on Tuesday nights. Like I've never heard that opinion before. No one has ever said that.
You know what really grinds my gears is when Akron and Ball State are in a tight ball game, 38-38 with a minute to go on a Wednesday. You know?
The thing is, like, yes, you're absolutely correct, Grant. No one's complaining about that because either you don't care and you just don't watch it, right? B, you do care that there's football on and you get a chance to watch football on Tuesday night. And see, those are probably the MAC's highest rated games as far as viewership numbers.
100%.
Not a whole lot of people watching on Saturday, right?
They're taking advantage of a time slot that no one else wants.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but starting, I guess, today for the listeners, like Thursday, you get 55 straight days of football with no breaks. I saw this. And you know who we have to thank for this?
The MAC.
The MAC and Conference USA a little bit, but mostly the MAC. We get to thank them for this. So
because the NFL gives us Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. College football gives us
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Now Tuesday, Wednesday.
And then Tuesday, Wednesday with the MACtion and Conference USA.
What is the date where we skip a day where we don't get football there, Grant? It's 55 days from now, you said?
I think it was like November 24th.
From Thursday. So, or from October 3rd, you get basically to the playoff.
Basically to Thanksgiving.
You get to Thanksgiving.
You get the rest of the football season. You get until conference championship weekend, basically. Would that not be because that's the first weekend of December?
No. Conference championship weekend, I believe, it's the first weekend of December. So you have Thanksgiving, you've got one more game after Thanksgiving, and then conference championship is next weekend.
There we go. Okay.
55 straight days.
Thank you, Mac.
It's a lot of football, man.
You should put a bet out there, one bet a day for 55 days.
You think we weren't going to do that?
5 days in a row.
It's like that guy.
Like I have to get 55 correct in a row. There's no chance of that happening. I can barely get 2 correct in a row.
You just pick all minus 800 games, and you just
you start with a penny and you go 55 in a row, and you probably end up with oh man, what is it?
Oh, at 30, it's like $2 million.
Compounded interest. Well, if you have a minus?
If you can get a minus,
if you have a minus 1,000 bet and you only bet a penny on it,
well, sure.
You return like a tenth of a penny, or
but we're assuming even odds here. Right?
But if you're rocking a plus 100, plus 110 bet.
I think you guys are over. You guys, I'm flattered. You guys think I can get 55 bets correct in a row, but I don't think that's happening.
I think you should try.
It's worth trying. We're gonna try.
You know what's unfortunate right now? We'll get to this later too when we get to the old awards winner segment. But I'm locked out of my DraftKings account. It stopped. It stopped allowing me to log in with my face for some reason. I think it was when I went to Nebraska the other day, which I spent my bye weekend, my bye week Saturday, largely not watching football because it was, and this happens. When you have significant others, especially when you have kids, your ass is going to find a pumpkin patch. Okay? You're going to find a pumpkin patch on a Saturday. And I'm just thankful it was on bye weekend. And so we found, and by the way, I didn't know that pumpkin patches were so involved. Like when we were kids, Kevin, I remember the pumpkin patch that I remember had the patch, right? Where you go grab your pumpkin and then maybe the corn pool that you can jump in the corn, maybe a corn maze, and then maybe if it was a really sick pumpkin patch, you got a pumpkin launcher.
Did you say corn pool?
There's I don't know what you call it. It's it's 3 feet worth of corn and you can go and jump in the corn.
Never heard of that.
Okay.
Never heard of that either. No.
Yeah,
okay.
that might
I love me a good corn maze, but I've never heard of that.
I don't know if
just
corn,
bathing in corn. Like
yeah,
a bathtub full of corn.
Absolutely, but it's more like I don't know. It's like a big. I don't even. It's like a stall. It's like you can jump in corn. Yes, you can go neck deep in corn.
Yeah, that's everyone's dream during
and
Halloween.
Then if it's a really sick pumpkin patch, there was like a pumpkin slingshot, or really cool was a pumpkin cannon where they load that thing into a cannon and they shoot it. Now we went to Omaha, Nebraska to see Lauren's sister and some other family, and this pumpkin patch, dude, it was like the state fair. It was like you walk in and you get a map and it looks like you're at Universal Studios. There was 30 attractions. There was 30 food stands, different food stands around the place. There's live shows going on. There's like 150 people working this thing. You can buy merchandise and there's like it's unbelievable. There's a train that goes around the outside of it. They have like, I don't know, 100 acres of land. It was massive. It's unbelievable. You guys are sitting there like, clearly you guys haven't been to a pumpkin patch yet.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell you the last time I've been to a pumpkin patch.
Is Alyssa not going to drag you to a pumpkin patch, Kat?
I don't think we're going to pumpkin patch this. Maybe we will. I don't know.
Alyssa seems like a pumpkin patch gal.
We enjoy a good pumpkin patch, and so does our dog. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
We're Oktoberfesting this weekend.
Now we're talking. All right. Yeah. Now we're talking a little Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Now, what is Oktoberfest? It's just like an excuse to drink more beer?
Oktoberfest is a German holiday.
Okay.
I think its roots was originally from Munich. I think it's something like there was a wedding in like a Bavarian wedding.
Okay.
Back in like the 1800s, and the king or lord or something like that threw a party for all his peasants, and they called it Oktoberfest.
Wow. Threw a party for the peasants, huh? The first, look at Kevin. Kevin would have just been absolutely scoffing at our conversation about the compromise on the old taglines. The first Oktoberfest took place in Munich on October 12th, 1810. For the commemoration of their marriage, Crown Prince Ludwig I and Princess Therese of Saxe-Hildburghausen, Jesus Christ, namesake of the Theresienwiese? Are you kidding me?
German is just a
festival grounds.
Come on, everyone knows this. It's common knowledge.
Yeah, right.
Thank God we won World War II, because German is a hideous language.
My goodness. They organized a great horse race. And then that's the blurb of it. I can't see anymore, but it looks like there was a lot of people that attended that thing. Good for them. I wonder how many wives old Ludwig had. Probably more than one.
You could probably look that up, but
yeah, probably.
Anyway, yeah. Now, 200 years later, we're still drinking beer in their honor.
How about it?
Yep.
Well, with this,
brats, mustard, and pretzels, be a good day.
Not a brat guy. Do love pretzels though.
Well, you're wrong, and I feel
how dare
sorry.
You? Yeah, I was gonna say you are missing out if you don't like brats.
Yeah. Sure.
Brats are far superior to hot dogs. I'll die on that hill.
Well, they're not even. I don't think you can even compare them. They're two different things. I mean, hot dogs are just like the bad parts of that are already off of like.
Oh, and you think you're getting the premium part of the pig and the brat?
Yeah, all of a sudden
you're getting maybe a little bit. I think you're probably getting a little better slice.
Yeah, they're switching to filet mignon when you want a brat.
Anyway, back to this alliance. Athletic directors from the Big Ten and SEC are set to meet. This is from CBS.com. Set to meet in Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm sure they're 90% of the time just going to go out on their company, on the old athletic department's cards and just eat steak dinners. Next week to discuss potential scheduling alliance and their preference for automatic bids in future college football playoff formats. This is a continuation of a partnership between the two conference giants that stretches back to February, when the Big Ten and SEC started pushing for a 14 team playoff model when the next contract begins in 2026. The two initially pushed for 4 auto bids apiece and will likely still fight for that. But the SEC and Big Ten also countered with a 3-3-2-2-1 model that would guarantee 3 spots for each the Big Ten and SEC conferences, including a first-round bye for each of the league's respective champion. The Big 12 and ACC would each get 2 auto bids, with 1 guaranteed spot held for the top-ranked group of 5 champion. That would leave 3 at-large bids for the next highest-ranked teams that didn't qualify for an auto bid. Talks cooled in June when the 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame agreed. There you go with the Notre Dame grant. Always getting a say, you know.
Join a conference already.
Commissioners and Notre Dame agreed to let the 12-team model play out this season before having further discussions surrounding the future of the CFP. As for the scheduling agreement, any moves towards an alliance depend on whether or not the SEC adopts a 9-game conference schedule. Since Big Ten schools already play 9 conference opponents each year, some athletic directors could push back on a scheduling agreement if the SEC does not follow suit. That's what that article had to say. 4 auto bids for both conferences. They're just stepping up and saying, "Hey, we're gonna put 14 teams in the playoff, right? And between us two, we're taking 8. We're taking 8, right? And maybe more."
Yeah, I mean,
and I can't say that I disagree. They're probably going to get 8 every year anyway.
More than, I don't know. Maybe not in the current model at 12, but
they're definitely going to get 6.
If they go to 14, yeah, I can't. The current landscape of college football and the way the conferences are aligned, if you go to a 14-team model, like 8 of your top 14 are probably going to be Big Ten or SEC teams.
How many teams does the SEC have? Do they have 14?
They're at 16 now.
16? So you have 16 and 18.
Yeah.
Which is 34 teams. Yeah, you're probably out of those 34 teams, you're probably got 7 or 8 of them that are going to be top 14 teams. I mean, that's just the way it is. Especially with those two conferences, even if you equal the playing field like 1 for 1, they're like top heavy. They have the big hitters. Like, it is what it is. Hey, join the Big Ten. Or plan on.
I'd be curious what they consider would it just be their top 4 ranked teams in those conferences, like as the committee ranks them, or it's like, they develop their own conference championship playoff system,
within the conference?
Within the conference, yeah.
To determine their top 4.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's already the Big Ten has so many teams that you can have multiple undefeated teams and like, okay, which one do you throw in there,
Yeah, I think there's a chance that it's not going to happen every year, or even really have a chance of happening every year. But I do believe, Kev, you're right. I think there's a chance but that's the thing, though. Here's the real question: are you going to get 3 undefeated teams?
Probably not, but
because if you get 2, then those 2 are clearly playing each other, and then one of them has a loss, right? And then they, you now know, okay, 2 best teams didn't lose during the regular season. 1 wins the championship. They're a conference champion. Here's our clear second place. If somehow 3 teams were able to slip through the cracks and you had to leave out an undefeated team in a conference championship, well, that's when things get. That's when the Big Ten moves to a 4-team playoff within the Big Ten to determine their champion, which then leads to, then all 4 of those teams end up getting into the CFP probably anyway. So why even play? It's like, I don't know. We're in a weird.
I'm looking at the current undefeated teams. Rutgers does not play Ohio State or Oregon or Penn State. So we could be talking about undefeated Rutgers at the end of the year.
Oh, and Grant and I have been talking. Grant and I have been talking about undefeated Rutgers. Trust me. That would make Grant happier than anything, I think.
To see the Scarlet Knights and undefeated in Indianapolis, that'd be a fever dream. Could you imagine trying to explain to someone,
to your kids,
in 2008, let's say, like, hey, there's going to be, not only are there is there a Big Ten championship now, but it's Rutgers versus Oregon.
Hey.
And not only that, it's on CBS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what's funny about that? Because it was on
CBS.
CBS was SEC for a long time.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Big Ten used to have the ABC games. Yeah. Now it's flip-flop.
Listen here, son. Rutgers versus Oregon for the Big Ten championship.
Just as God intended it to be.
You could theoretically have an undefeated Penn State, an undefeated Oregon, and an undefeated Rutgers.
Well, that would be fantastic.
Who says no? Who's saying no to this?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly. And when the time comes, you obviously put Rutgers above Penn State, and yeah, you have an Oregon versus Rutgers matchup.
It would be. It could literally come down to a tiebreaker of who beats USC by more.
They
Hey, they're gonna have to go to. Yeah, they're gonna have to go to
Rutgers. You're gonna see Coach Schiano trying to run up the score against USC. Hopefully,
against the Trojans
situation. He's like, don't worry. When that he's foreseeing a 3-way tie situation where he's gotta win.
Oregon does not play USC this year.
It was more when you were saying you were gonna throw Rutgers over Penn State.
I don't think Rutgers plays USC this year. Oh, they do. Never mind.
They do.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh.
Scenario.
Had some fun talks in our Tuesday pod too with the Big Ten power rankings. Grant and I have been having a lot of fun with those.
Yeah.
Indiana climbing the ranks right now.
Windiana is going at it right now.
Kevin, our question was if Cignetti wins like this and wins immediately, how long does Indiana retain him as their coach?
It's a good question. Man, I feel like Indiana could have been a good program under was it Tom Allen? Yeah. I think he was a good coach, but dude, it's just a tough situation there in the Big Ten East there when you had Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State all playing at a high level. Michigan State was good every now and then. It's like it was a tough place to win.
Yeah.
This guy's definitely benefiting from that. Also, they had a pretty cakewalky non-conference schedule.
Yeah, I don't think their strength of schedule certainly isn't up there. You know, it's
and they've got. I mean, they beat UCLA handedly, and they've got a 14-point win over Maryland. So I mean, they've beaten who's on their schedule. That's all they can do right now. They're not going to get. I mean, they're 2-touchdown favorite versus Northwestern this week. We'll see what they're made of when they play Nebraska in a couple weeks. How long does he stay around for? I don't know, man. There's always teams looking for coaches.
Always teams looking for coaches.
It's tough to. Hey, this guy had one good season, and pay him a lot of money to leave. But that's what Michigan State did with what's his name,
Mel Tucker.
Mel Tucker, yeah,
dude.
And they paid him a lot of money to stay.
What do you think that guy's doing right now, man? Is he coaching or is he just living on $100 million?
They're not paying him. He got fired for cause.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So,
I mean, he's still got a fair amount of money.
He's got a few mil, not the 80 that he signed for.
How bad is he hurting?
That's an all-time bad.
That's fumbling the bag right there.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick shout out. I know I catch a lot of flack on here for being a Nebraska volleyball fan. Iowa Hawkeyes, your Iowa Hawkeyes, 2-0 in conference play right now. Got big 5-set wins over the weekend against Rutgers and Maryland. It's been a while since your Iowa Hawkeyes, especially in an 18-team league, have been this far up the rankings. Obviously, only 2 games into the schedule so far, but up there at the top, tied with some of the big dogs. Shout out to them. You got to give credit where credit's due. Also want to do a quick something, Grant. If you could pull I want to pull up that G-Bone top 25. We haven't talked about that in a while.
Shoot. Okay. Hold on.
And I want to give a shout out. Now, there's been a lot of cool things that have come from creating this podcast, starting this show and this brand over the 6 years that we've done this. I was contacted by this guy named Taylor. I am gonna butcher your last name, Taylor. Taylor Kaloji. And he hit me up and he was like, "Hey," he was kind of like asking about, "Hey, maybe we advertise on the show down the road, like when I just took over this company. I think he just took over his own construction company. Guy does woodwork. He's like, I'd love to create a piece for you to like maybe hang up behind you on the podcast or like put up in your man cave, whatever." I was like, "Dude, yeah, that'd be so sick." Like, he's like, I want to do it free of charge. Like, guy just wants to, guy just loves wood, just loves working a little wood, right? Shout out Taylor. And dude, he came up with this. I don't know if I can get the whole thing in screen. Can you actually here? Let me do this so I can be bigger. Check this out.
Oh,
look at that.
Whoa, that's sick.
Shout out.
So that's like lasered. That's like lasered in. They got our newer logo, our box logo on there. And it's like pretty heavy duty. It's got a little thing on the back to hang up.
Where you going with that thing? Is that going to replace your?
I think it might have to replace the backdrop.
I was say that's got to go smack right behind you.
I think I got to put it behind me.
100%.
So shout out to Taylor Kalaji. Hit up. Take a look at his work. Guy loves to make furniture. He said furniture is his specialty. Kalaji Construction on Instagram. KOLODGI Construction.
Shout out to him,
dude. What a legend. All right, Grant. You hit me with that G-Bone top 25.
By the way, I just want to preface. Whoa, quad boxing.
Hold
top
on.
25 here?
Oh wait, hold on. We just figured out the YouTube quad box. Look at that.
We can quad box if we want.
Love that.
Yeah, I will say I am starting to dislike doing these top 25s. It feels like an impossible. It feels like an impossible job.
No,
because I don't want to rank like half these teams. Like, I don't believe that half these teams are a lot of these teams.
All right, tell me who.
Yeah, who do you want to toss out of there?
And who would you put in above them is the question.
Well, like for instance, like in the AP poll, right? A lot of teams have like Oklahoma at 15, 16, 17, somewhere around there. I didn't even rank them because I was like, I'm so sick of this team. I don't want them around anymore.
Well, are they? Wait, hold on. Is Oklahoma undefeated?
No.
No, they lost to Tennessee.
No, and they put an abysmal game against Auburn, which I was like, I don't want to reward them for this, but
they just barely escaped.
I don't know. I'm gonna keep doing them, but I feel like I'm more of a tiers guy.
Okay.
Like I feel like that's a more efficient way for me to rank them in week 6.
Okay.
Well, maybe you can switch up. There's no rules.
Yeah, I mean we're committed to it. Like we're like it's like you got to be a bracketologist all season. You can't just do it for 1 week, right? But I do feel for sometimes the voters now. It is a difficult job.
How do you feel about? Well, maybe start at the top here because I thought it was interesting that that they jumped Alabama all the way up to number 1 after the AP did.
They did,
and obviously they beat Georgia and they were absolutely stomping Georgia for a good portion of that game. But does that warrant? I mean, it ended up being very close. They could have easily lost that game still.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Like, how does Alabama jump in the AP? I see you kept them at you put them at number 2, which I think is a little bit more respectable. Texas still
it's
at
just
number 1.
I think Alabama now is the best win in the country.
Yes.
I think it's mainly it. And then I think people also remember that 28-0 start pretty well. And I don't know. I obviously I didn't put Alabama up at 1, but like I would understand why you would want to. Like frankly, we're only halfway through the season. We don't know. There's still a little bit to learn as we're early in conference play. But I just thought I think Texas dominating Michigan too is so ingrained in my mind of like, holy cow, this team is that good.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I think we learned a lot about Michigan, though. You have them at number 9, and I think that is very generous right now.
Again, the rankings thing's tough because it's like I know I have to put certain teams somewhere, but like in my head, if it was like a tier system, they would probably be somewhere else. If that makes sense.
Funny, interesting point here. Going back to the old, hey, we want 4 auto bids per conference. By the way, if you look at Grant's top 10 or just the AP top 10, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SEC teams. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 Big Ten teams, and then you've got the U. I mean,
no, you got the U and Clemson for the ACC.
Well, Clemson's at 11. On the main one, or on the AP one, not the main one. Grant's the main one. G-Bone is he's the real one. Okay. They have Alabama, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, Missouri, those 5 still, and again Michigan, Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State. Like 9 of the top 10 are Big Ten or SEC schools.
Yeah, putting
up a pretty good case there for those 4 auto bids. Now I understand that those teams still have to play each other in a lot of cases. It allows some other teams that are, maybe somebody like Miami and some. You go down the list here. There's not a lot of other. Right after that is USC, Ole Miss, LSU. Then there's a little bit of a gap on the AP poll, but there's just not a lot of room. You might get one Big 12 team up there. It's tough sledding. Told Grant this yesterday as well, Kevin. And this could be tough for K Wardy 26. Are you prepared for the situation where you have to cheer for Iowa State the rest of this season to win out and be the Big 12 champions and get into the playoff?
I'm never going to cheer for such a scenario.
Okay. Well, you might want to start.
Nope. Don't want to.
Well, you might want to because if it happens to be that they are the only loss or one of only 2 losses on Iowa's schedule and we have any sort of chance, we probably want those teams we lost to be as high in the rankings as possible. And they're already in the top 15 on the G-Bone scale, the Richter scale.
You're forgetting about the very fun BYU Cougars right now as well in the Big 12.
Oh, I'm not saying that Iowa State's going to run away with it by any means. I actually don't think they'll. There's still a good chance they don't even make the Big 12 championship game. Yeah. And I would, if I had to put my money on the field or Iowa State to win the Big 12 championship, my money's going on the field.
Well, that would make sense. There's a lot of.
But it's certainly not. I think they're the favorites at this point. They're the betting favorites
to win the Big 12. They are.
I think so.
Some bold odds.
Wow.
So let's see.
Let's see. Big 12 odds. I didn't know that.
If they're not, they got to be close.
Do you have Kansas State? So you got a 3-way tie between Utah, Kansas State, and Iowa State to win the Big 12. On most books. Some of them are different, but
plus 300,
400,
plus 400.
Yeah. Some of them have Iowa State is slightly less than Kansas State, but you get the idea.
Is Utah's quarterback back yet? He just had a bad loss to Arizona.
Dude,
but how much does that? It doesn't matter at this point with Utah.
It matters a lot.
That guy's been there for 6 years. It feels like.
I know, but I'm so sick of is Cam Rising playing or not thing. We've been doing this for a year and a half. I'm so.
Well, if he is playing though, they beat people a lot of people, and if he isn't playing, they're dog shit.
Yeah,
Is this one of those teams that you feel sick that you had to rank? Is Utah?
Dude, Cam Rising not playing ruined my 5-game teaser this weekend.
Well, I will say when I watched that Oklahoma,
that's just bad ball right there.
Yeah.
What? No, it works all the time.
No one teases college football.
I do.
All right.
You know it's impossible to bet, by the way, the NFL.
The NFL is very hard.
Oh my God, it's hard. It feels like it's the hardest.
And that's how you know it's a good product, right?
Sure.
Dude, I could bet the White Sox are going to lose tonight. I would have been right 121 times. All right.
And they are going to lose. Okay.
You thought the White Sox were going to be in the wild card tonight.
Well,
no.
Okay.
But did the White Sox? By the way,
we went back to April and just every game bet the White Sox are going to lose. You would have had a profitable year.
You probably would have made money. Circling back on that for just 20 seconds, Kev. I know at one point the White Sox were on pace to have the worst MLB season ever.
They did.
They did that. They did do that.
Yeah. They accomplished it.
Oh wow, good for them.
Yep, going down the record books.
They
actually ended the season on a somewhat decent I don't want to say win streak because they did lose like the third to last game to seal the record. But let's they won 5 out of their last 6 games.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which I think they tied the record with 6 games left.
Wow.
They tied, yeah, exactly. And then
they decided to start winning.
It was the third to last game that they set the record. So they tried their hardest not to be in the record books, but they ultimately they did. So
that would have just been the worst Jerry Reinsdorf thing ever, is to be 1 game off of the worst season ever. So he could just be like, hey, we weren't the worst team ever, guys. All right.
They got 1/8 of their wins in the last 6 days of the season.
It's incredible. The sorry to any White Sox fans. Sounds like it's tough times right now. My favorite part about this whole list, Grant, is that us being back to the G-Bone Top 25 is that, us being a JMU adjacent podcast.
Sure.
You have the Hawks and JMU co-ranked at 25 there, just barely making it.
I feel like it's really hard not to include JMU in this right now.
I do too.
Like they've just done nothing but demolish everyone in front of them.
Dude, they score a lot of points.
I think they had a slow first half against Charlotte to start the year, and then outside of that, they've just been annihilating everyone.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's going to – I mean, it's still fairly early in the season. I don't know if that's going to continue. ULM is kind of sneaky this year. This weekend could get interesting. But
Louisiana Monroe?
Dude, they're 3-1, and they got like a Taysom Hill kind of guy on their team. And really? I think their quarterback is General Booty. I could be wrong about that, but
really, transfer from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think he's there now. But yeah, no, JMU is probably going to win that game anyway. But no, they've crushed everyone. Wasn't it like the last team to score 63 points in back-to-back games was 2019 LSU and JMU this year?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, checks out. Yeah, so I wanted to include JMU in there because especially like, I like including these now that the G5, is in the playoff 12 seed. We gotta the G5's got to be in the mixer. We got to be talking about Boise. Got to be talking about UNLV. Let's throw JMU in there. They haven't done anything wrong yet.
I'm a big Boise fan, honestly.
Boise's fun.
I like what they're doing. I like JMU.
I like as a underrated storyline of this season, Ashton Jeanty and Caleb Johnson just having like a touchdown off.
Yeah.
Like who can just score the most? Who can have the most yards? And I hope that this continues for most of the season, and then maybe Caleb can take it away against Nebraska or something like that.
That'd be great. We can put that away. Fun rankings. Sounds like they're kind of on the fence. Who knows if they continue? Said he's more of a tier guy. We'll see what it evolves.
We're gonna keep doing them, but okay. I'll throw up the hand and say rankings are hard.
They are hard. You know what else is hard is going into a top 5 teams place and winning a football game. In fact, it's probably non-advisable. Probably an empty effort most times. Kev, we're going to try and do that. Not me and you. It's probably a good thing that you and I aren't going to try and do it. But the boys, the Hawks, are going to try and do that this weekend. Going with the theme that we don't really preview shit over here. A couple words on this matchup this weekend at the Shoe. The Hawks need a prayer.
Ohio State is very, 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 very good. But they know that. And that could be their downfall.
Ooh.
Ooh, watch out.
No, they're really good. They are
really fucking good.
They're really good. I started looking up their roster today. I've never seen so many stars. It's wild. Look up into the sky tonight as you listen to this podcast. Listen at night. Go out in the country where you can see.
Did you think somebody punched you in the face? You were seeing so many stars.
It felt like I was in the ring. There were so many stars. I tweeted this, and this is a great stat for the Hawks. There was a list of Big Ten. By the way, I followed Kelly Ford, Grant. He is a great follow.
It's a great follow, college football fans.
Great follow. But I saw a little graphic of the Big Ten teams ranked by penalties, and then it also had penalty yards. Iowa leading the way. Only 11 penalties this year for like 95 yards. least penalties and least yards.
And they got penalized a lot in game 1 too, I think. So
first half of game 1, we had 5 of those.
Yeah.
So in 7 halves of football, we've had 6 penalties.
That's good. That's good ball.
We're going to need to continue that this weekend. And there's another stat that's very important when you look at football games, Kev, that really helps you win football games. And that is?
Turnovers.
We're going to need a few.
We are going to have to win the turnover margin by probably at least 2.
I was going to say it might have to be 3.
Yeah.
What's so bare minimum 3 turnovers?
Oh, yeah. We're going to, I think we have to, for what they're going to try and make us do, I would say it's not a bad bet if the over-under of Cade interceptions is at 1 in this game, or at a half. I'm probably taking the over, which means our defense is going to need to create probably 4 turnovers. Like, that's the kind of game. And I think you look at the Ohio State game where Kevin and I were a part of that win. I think one of the biggest against the spread victories ever in college football. I think it was like 53 or 56 points against the spread that we won that day.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were 50-point underdogs?
No. We are 24-point underdogs, and we beat them by 31.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, come on, guys, you gotta give yourself some credit.
Yeah. If you look up the all-time against the spread ending results, I think we're like 3rd or 4th all-time every football game ever since they started tracking that. Well, Josh Jackson had a day.
Yeah. 4? 3.
He
had 3, and Monty Hooker had 1.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then I don't think they fumbled. Did they fumble?
We forced a couple fumbles. I think they fell on both of them.
Okay. So, we had a ton of turnover. We forced a ton of turnovers. And then the other thing that Colt and I talked about today, Kev, again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm just trying to give you the short formula for anybody listening. Hey, is there any way the Hawks win this weekend? And this is one of those boring coach speak things that KF talks about a lot. Our best players have to play our best.
Yeah. And we threw several touchdowns to our future first-round tight ends that game.
Yeah, the future first round, first half of the first round, two of them. And our defense played unreal.
And future legal expert / signed ball swindler made a lot of people miss tackles that day too.
Had me confused with legal expert to start off.
Legal expert is fucking all time on that, Kev. That is chef's kiss. We could end the podcast there, but we have to do our bets. Yes, we had our best players playing our best. Even myself that game. I caught a fucking pass in that game. Should have been a touchdown. Drake caught a touchdown in that game. I mean, we had guys playing.
We even had our not best players playing.
We had our bad players playing great. It's incredible. Unbelievable what we did that day. Some would say all time. May never be replicated. Did you play good that day?
I had a solid game, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Let's go, man.
Yeah.
So there's my 3 keys to victory. When they start the game and it's like, hey, it's Booger's keys to victory. We gotta win the turnover battle. We gotta have no penalties, and we gotta win with our best players playing their best game. Those are my 3 keys to victory this weekend, boys and girls at home. I don't have much more than that. Kevin, you can add a few final thoughts on that, but
I mean, I would like to say we got to make them one-dimensional on offense, but even if they are one-dimensional, they're still pretty good at that dimension. So,
yeah.
I mean, we have to stop the run. If they beat us through the air, which they can do. They got some dudes. We got some dudes too. But then we got a chance if we stop the run. Stop the run, win turnovers, win penalties, win field position, make it a fist fight. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing and we did this in 13 and we did this in 17. It has to be a ball game starting the third quarter. You gotta make them go into halftime just a little bit more concerned than they were at the beginning of the football game. Because if they start to go in there and you start to question it, that's when people start to play a little tight. People start to make mistakes. So I was going to look up team statistics rushing. I'm trying to find what Ohio State averages through 4 games. Not that they've seen a defense like ours yet, but
they're averaging 6.6 yards a carry.
Okay.
And they've got 900 yards on the ground through 4 games, so 220, 230.
Yeah, 227. So they're averaging 227 on the ground. That's good for it doesn't give me a ranking, but that's good for
300 plus through the air.
Yeah, so that's good for about 12th or 15th. They're top 15 in rushing yards per game. I was 9th, 10th.
And their defense has let up
not a lot.
27 points all year.
Yeah, it's yeah. So we're gonna have to score more than that average, but yeah. I mean, hey, maybe come out of Ohio with a 21-17 win, 24-21, 31-28
to 17.
2017.
2017.
Okay. All right. 2017, huh?
Yeah, fuck it. 55 to 24.
50 to 20. 100 JMU score 63 to 12. We're gonna need some help. We're gonna need everybody to play their best game, and all these guys know that, and we're just the 2 30-year-olds on a mic. Kevin's not quite 30 yet. Let's do everybody's favorite segment. DJ Kevin. Yeah.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind.
And all we do is it's not all we do. In fact, it only took 4 weeks to figure out that we pretty much win half the time. Maybe just slightly better.
Wait, Grant, you're dead even 500, right?
I'm 1 game above 500.
Well, I thought we had a push last week.
Did we
I counted the push twice.
You counted the push twice. All right, that a boy. All right,
Love
so
that.
we are all above 500. So that's pretty solid 4 weeks into the year.
Yeah, I don't hate that. We're just finding
honestly remarkable.
And I think we've all found our trends. I'm going to bet Rutgers. Kluwer's going to bet JMU.
Yep.
Grant is going to
bet everybody.
Yeah. And
it's fair.
You just kind of got to get in your groove.
Sure.
Yeah, and with that trend, JMU is going to be one of my picks today. It's going to be one of my last picks. One of my first picks is I'm looking at this game, number 9 Missouri at number 25 Texas A&M. And I see the road dogs, Missouri Tigers, plus 2.5. I've been told Missouri's good.
Missouri's actually struggled a little bit in recent weeks. They had a comeback win versus Boston College, and then they had to go to a double overtime versus Vanderbilt. So
they did have that close game versus Vandy where I was cheering so hard for Vanderbilt to win that game.
Diego Pavia.
A&M also, struggled versus Bowling Green, who gave Penn State a good run for the money as well.
And then
they played Arkansas great. So honestly, this is probably a pick'em game.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pick them, the Tigers. Give me Missouri plus 2.5 at Texas A&M this weekend. We're then gonna scroll down to. Should I just bet the UMass Northern Illinois game just for fun? Just sicko bet. We're betting Iowa, Ohio State. And this one's at plus 20 right now. Give me your Iowa Hawkeyes on the road. Plus 20 to cover that line. I'm not saying they're going to get you a win. I would never bet them on the money line in this game. They're plus 850. Be good money. If you hit. But give me them plus 20. We're gonna put up a fight. We're gonna go in and make this thing a little bit sticky. Something we haven't been able to do for a couple years against some big time ranked teams. 92-0 last year against ranked opponents. No more. We're going to the shoe and we're gonna make this somewhat of a ball game, at least. And then where's the JMU line at? Let me find it. James Madison minus 16.5 against ULM. Dude, JMU scores points like a basketball team. and I'm taking them. I also pulled up the against the spread, best teams against the spread this year in college football, and JMU they're up there in like the top 20 or so. They're 75% against the spread. There are still 10 teams that are 100% against the spread this year.
Can you do a quick look? I believe Rutgers is one of them.
Rutgers is 3-1.
Ooh, who did they lose?
3-1 against the spread.
I'd like a recount on that.
I don't know. Your teams that are still undefeated against the spread: BYU, UNLV, Marshall, Louisville, Eastern Michigan, Tennessee, San Jose State, Pittsburgh, Illinois, and Army. Illinois. Who's Illinois got this weekend?
Illinois is playing.
They might have a bye week.
They have a bye?
Illinois is not playing this week.
I feel like, okay. Maybe
It's a
something to
win.
look at. Tennessee's on there, right? I just said
Illinois
Tennessee.
playing a plate of chicken wings this week.
How do you feel about number 4 Tennessee minus 13.5 at Arkansas?
Arkansas has been kind of sneaky.
100%.
A lot of statement losses coming from Arkansas this year.
These statement losses, I tell you what.
Sam Pittman is a weird coach. I don't understand him. But
Well, all right. Give me your sneaky picks then, Grant.
I don't know if any of these are sneaky per se. Okay, for game day, Cal plus 10 versus Miami. The Calgorithm. If you're on college football Twitter, Cal has absolutely taken over it recently. So, and then I'm going to take Cal, and that Miami game raised some eyebrows, some questions for me about them. And this is a long trip to Berkeley for Miami.
Classic ACC matchup.
Yes, as everyone knows, when Cal plays Miami, you can throw out the record books between these two teams.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to take Minnesota plus 8 versus USC. I just feel like any of the classic Big Ten teams roughing up USC this year. I want a part of it. Washington minus 2.5 versus Michigan. And then Michigan, Washington over 41.5.
Whoa,
I feel like
back up.
Yep.
You just said you took Minnesota plus 8 versus USC because you like the classic Big Ten teams to rough up these
USC.
Big Ten teams.
No,
They like
specifically
they like
USC.
specifically USC, Kevin.
Specifically USC. Okay. And
And
you're
then
gonna
right
take
into Washington.
minus 2.5 versus Michigan.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
They're going to be
That's great.
sailgating. There's sailgating going on this weekend, Kevin.
I like Sailgating. I also like Dubs the Husky. It's a great dog. I'm gonna take Texas A&M minus 1.5 versus Missouri. I think Missouri is a bunch of frauds, and I think they're gonna get exposed at some point. And it might be this weekend. Who knows? UNLV minus 6.5 versus Syracuse. Texas Tech plus 6.5 versus Arizona. South Carolina plus 9.5 versus Ole Miss. Cox. Georgia Tech minus 8.5 versus Duke, and then UTEP on Thursday night versus Sam Houston. I posted earlier some great new uniforms for UTEP.
Really?
They're repping customs on Thursday.
Are they the
night,
Miners?
They are the Miners. Yes. Sun Bowl, underrated stadium in this country for UTEP.
I also think that the T is a pickaxe in their logo.
Ooh, it just might be, and that would be an excellent use of.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the best used, mascot to logo incorporated with the name of the team. I think that's probably up there, top 5 in the country. And it's your segment, Kev.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with one that's actually a classic ACC matchup. Clemson minus 14 at Florida State. Florida State has to do something to prove to me that they even want to play football this year.
They're so bad.
it looks bad too. They just got boat raced by SMU last week. So yeah, give me the Clemson Tigers, and this just feels like a team that's already called it quits for the year.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. Maybe prove me wrong, Florida State. Prove me wrong. I am going to take that Tennessee minus 13 pick at Arkansas. I'm high on Tennessee this year. I think they've won scoring a lot of points. They've won in the low scoring ball games. They've covered spreads every single week. So I will take Tennessee.
Love that.
Laying those almost 2 touchdowns. And then I'm gonna go the other side. What line did you get that Minnesota game at there?
It was 8.
I got it at 8.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take USC minus 8. I'm gonna go Oppo Taco from you.
Good.
I think Minnesota is just a phony program, and barring a Michigan meltdown in the fourth quarter, they get boat raced by them, and I think USC will put up some points against them. So.
Kevin Ward, not a fan of PJ, as they call him up there. Some of the haters.
I was looking at Minnesota's schedule the rest of the year. They maybe will be favored in 2 more games this year.
Oh, so Minnesota gonna miss a bowl game. You heard it here first.
They're in trouble.
I would sell them on being able to make a bowl game.
Love that. Love that. PJ is going to be on the hot seat here soon, I think.
I hope so. I'm tired of listening to that guy. I'm tired of seeing him. He needs to go back to the MAC where he belongs. And that's not a disrespect to the MAC. It's just a good fit.
How dare you?
Feels kind of like a disrespect to the MAC. I don't think
maybe MAC doesn't want PJ Fleck, right? Maybe they've grown up past PJ Fleck.
Well, I would hope so. All right.
Hey, PJ could maybe go get a job at Florida State.
Could you imagine? Yeah, if they hired they fire Billy Napier to go get PJ Fleck.
Yes.
Florida fans would be outraged.
No, they would be.
I did bring an update for the biggest outright upsets of all time.
Oh yeah,
by the way.
Yeah.
If you had to get do you want to try and guess the biggest
App
ATS
State,
spread?
Michigan is what comes to my mind. But I don't think it actually.
Yeah, that one would have had to have been like 30 or something, 40 maybe. I
want
to say the biggest ever is in the 60s.
I don't even know if App State Michigan's in the top 10.
Wow,
to be totally honest.
Okay, give us the big one.
Howard beat UNLV as 45-point underdogs.
By how much?
I don't know the final score. I just know they won.
Oh, so that was just the biggest spread of a game. They didn't necessarily win.
Howard won 43-40. No, these are outright upsets.
Yeah.
So the
biggest
team actually won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a team that was, 7-point underdogs wins by 30.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's just like the
It's
actual
like whoever
spread.
kind of the biggest spread.
Yeah.
That App State one was in the 30s because Michigan was like number 2 that year.
Yeah, App State was a 31-point underdog to Michigan.
Okay.
It looks like here.
Cool.
I remember watching that game live as a kid, so that's the only one. That's what sticks out to me.
Yeah. That's all I got. I'm gonna go eat ice cream. I implore you guys to do the same. Catch the 5-10-5 show tomorrow with me and Justin Lima, Coach Justin. We went for like 40 minutes. Really good conversation. And then you guys will be heading into the weekend to watch the Hawks at the Shoe to play the Buckeyes on Saturday afternoon. We'll recap that game. Hopefully a win on Monday. See you then.
Epstein didn't kill himself.